Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. I mentioned in a previous video talking about how I was going to post a video soon about sapphic romance and my kind of thoughts on sapphic romance and specific books in that genre, and so I finally decided what I actually wanted to do, and today I am going to be tier ranking different sapphic books that I've read. They're not all necessarily in the contemporary romance category, like some of them are romantasy, but they're all sapphic and they all have romance at the forefront, and I'm going to be tier ranking them based on just how good I thought they were, how well thought out, how good the romance was, just everything in general. I'm going to be tier ranking them today, so let's get into it. So here is my little tier list that I've created. I have 5 tiers that I made and I'm going to explain them to you. So the first one I have is no edits, which is like top tier, the greatest I've read, really good books, solid on checking all the boxes, everything's good, it's great, we love it. The next tier I have is I Still Love You, which is maybe you had some issues, maybe you weren't absolute perfection, but you were still really good and I did still enjoy you and I had a fun time with you despite your flaws. I thought you were good. Next we have You're All Right, which is kind of just neutral, mid, like you're not bad, there's nothing wrong with you, I just don't think you're great, I don't think you're anything remarkable. Beneath that we have Not My Style, which is maybe you're not necessarily a bad book, but I did not enjoy you. And then at the bottom we have Burn It, which is nope, you are absolutely terrible, I should not have read you, you were a waste of time, burn it, literally. All right, so the first book I have is The Dark Tide. I talked about this in my sapphic fantasy video because it is a romantasy, but it does have like a very prominent romance, so I want to include it in here. And I'm gonna put this one in You're All Right. Like I said, I talked about this in my sapphic fantasy discussion video that I made. And this book, while I do think it's good, and this is just kind of focusing on like the romance part, I guess. I don't know. I thought the romance was sweet. I thought the plot was stupid. Not stupid. Just I didn't really enjoy it. I couldn't get into it. It wasn't very remarkable. I don't remember too much about it. I don't think it was a bad book, but I also just don't think it was particularly good. It didn't stand out in any way. If you want to hear me talking about this book in a little more detail, you can go into my sapphic fantasy video because I did talk about it a little more in there, but I literally just can't bring myself to remember. It's too much effort to think about what happened in this book because I really don't remember that well, so it's going in the middle. The next one is Georgia Peaches, and I love Georgia Peaches and Other Forbidden Fruit. This book is one that I actually remember like staying up late in my bed to finish reading this book, which I think is the best feeling ever because I am not a night owl whatsoever. I go to bed super early. I'm basically a grandma and I wake up super early. So that's just like how I function, like without setting an alarm, I'll wake up early, but it's because I go to bed early. And I hate staying up late, but I stayed up late to finish reading this book, and that, if that tells you anything, I promise that means this is such a good book. I'm gonna put that one up in no edits. The plot of this book, it follows this girl, her name is Joanna, and she has just moved from Atlanta to this super small town in southern Georgia because her dad has just got remarried to this woman who is from this town, so they all have to move to this town. And Joanna, when she was in Atlanta, was out as a lesbian and she was proud about this, and like there was no issues with it, and her dad, who is a pastor, was very open-minded, was very supportive of her. But now that they're moving to Georgia with his wife's new family in this really small southern conservative town, her dad tells her, hey, cut it out. He basically tells her she has to pretend in this act to be straight and she has to hide who she truly is while they're in this town. It talks a lot about like the pressure of being in a small conservative town as a queer person, and I think that's really important to talk about. And also the romance is just so sweet in this book. I love it. It had me giggling and kicking my feet the whole time. It is just the cutest, most pure little romance you'll ever see. I absolutely adore it, and I adore these characters, and I just thought this book was really great. I didn't give it 5 stars. I think I gave it like 4.5, 4.75, so close to 5 stars. Like I said, I don't really read a lot of 5-star romance ever, so I mean the bar is not that high, but this one definitely went above and did really great, so I'm going to put it in no edits for that reason. Next one is another one, or next two I guess, because they're both by the same author and they're both more romantic books that again I did talk about in my sapphic fantasy book, and that is Sweet and Bitter Magic and Sophie and the Bone Song. We're going to start with Sweet and Bitter Magic, and I'm going to put Sweet and Bitter Magic right here in I Still Love You. I really enjoyed Sweet and Bitter Magic. I thought it was a really cute little read. It follows our main character, who is a witch who is cursed to not be able to feel love or be loved by anyone. And then she is, you know, our grumpy character, and then we have our sunshine character, Ren, who comes up to the main character and is trying to get her help to help rescue her father. It's very sweet. It follows them. The romance is very sweet. There's very much like stereotypical tropes in it. It's enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, one bed, like all the things that are like, okay, yeah, that's basic romance stuff, but it's cute and it's done in a really cute way, and it is fantasy, so it does have a sort of overarching fantasy plot, but the romance in it is really, really sweet, and I do recommend this one. So even though I don't think it's perfect, I think I give it about 4 stars, I'm going to put it in I Still Love You because I do love it. I do. And then we have Sophie and the Bone Song, which is by the same author, and it's the same sort of vibe. We've got fantasy, we've got sapphic romance, we've got them mashed together. Sophie and the Bone Song, I think I do actually prefer to Sweet and Bitter Magic, but not by much, so I'm debating over whether to put it in the no edits or in the I Still Love It, but I think I'm gonna put it in the same category I did Sweet and Bitter Magic, even though I like it a little bit more. I love Sophie and the Bone Song. The plot of Sophie and the Bone Song, our main character has basically worked her entire life to become a music, because in this world there's only certain people who are allowed to like perform with instruments, and these people are how they go like politically to go talk to other countries. They do it through music, and so she has trained her whole life to become one of these people, and then this random girl shows up, never touched an instrument before in her life, plays perfectly and takes her spot, and it's insane. Things unfold. Daddy issues is a big theme, and as someone with daddy issues, I ate it up. I ate this book up. I loved it so much. The romance is very, very sweet, but the plot is also very nice. I love this book. The plot and the romance both I think are really nice. The biggest thing I think is that I really love the prose of this book. It's very lyrical because we've got the music, and so she writes in a kind of musical way, because she doesn't do that in Sweet and Bitter Magic, but she does it in this one, and the song focuses on music. So I think that's just a really cool little detail, and I really do love this book. So I'll put it in I Still Love You. Now we're going to get a little out of order with how I have them at the bottom here, and the next one I'm going to do is Last Night at the Telegraph Club. It's very, very popular, and it's popular for a reason, because it is an excellent book, and I absolutely love this book. It is historical fiction. It's a historical romance, which I think is what makes it better for me, because I really, really do love historical romance, like queer historical romance. I absolutely will eat it up every time, and this one was no exception. It takes place in the 1950s, I believe, and it focuses a lot on not just queerness, obviously, but also what it meant to be a Chinese American at this time, because our main characters are both Chinese women living in the United States during this whole panic over communism, and it's really it gives you a lot of perspective. And this book is heavy, I will say. It's not like happy the whole time. There's some very, very cute moments, and then there's some moments that literally made me cry, but I absolutely adore this book. I think it's so perfect, and I'm gonna put it in no edits because it's just absolutely wonderful. But on a different note, Melinda Lowe's other book, A Scatter of Light, was nowhere near as good. I read A Scatter of Light because I read Last Night at the Telegraph Club, and so I thought A Scatter of Light would be similar in terms of me enjoying it, but I hated A Scatter of Light. I absolutely hate it, and it's very rare that I will say I hate a book or that a book is objectively bad, but I think this book is objectively bad. Like, I don't think there is anyone that would enjoy this book, and my reasoning for that is A Scatter of Light follows this girl who has just turned 18, and she's spending the summer with her grandparents, and she meets this other woman while she's here who cleans her grandmother's garden, I think. This woman is in a relationship. She's in a relationship with someone else, and they're having issues in their relationship, but they're not like bad people. They're not like they care about each other, or at least the other girl cares about her, but she ends up getting with the main character, and that's just so problematic to me. And throughout the book, you're supposed to be like rooting for them. You're supposed to be rooting for the main character and this other girl to get together, but I just could not do it because the other girl was literally in a relationship the whole time, and I just could not read it without feeling so bad for the other girl. And I just don't know. I did not enjoy it at all, and I think it's supposed to be like more realistic as opposed to like romantic, I guess, but it was just not. There were moments that I think were supposed to be romantic, and I just hated them. I hated every second. I felt so uncomfortable, and so I'm gonna put this in burn it. Don't recommend. Next one we have is The Honey Witch. This one I read recently. It's in one of my wrap-up videos. I don't even remember which one. I think it might be January, February. I did not enjoy this book. I don't remember what I rated it, but I think I rated it higher than I should have. Like, I think I rated it close to 3 stars, and it's definitely not deserving of that at all. Now that I'm like looking back, I think I should have rated it more around 1 or 2, but I did not enjoy this book. This book is supposed to be a cozy romantasy, which I guess it was, but it was also just so nothing. Like, it gave me absolutely nothing. I didn't think the romance between the 2 characters was cute at all. One girl was just insufferably mean to the other girl, and the other girl was just like absolutely devastated at the fact that this girl would not be nice to her. And then they finally like kind of get to, oh, she's mean because she has trauma and blah blah blah, and it's like, okay, but like they didn't have sweet cute moments. They were like nothing. They were just being mean. And then every time a moment would like turn cute, it would always end in a sex scene, and like a very like graphic and detailed sex scene. And it was like, that's just not what I was looking for in like a book that was marketed as like a cozy, sweet little romance, and that's just not really what it was. It was very vulgar, and it also, the plot as far as like the fantasy plot goes, was stupid, absolutely stupid, so predictable. I guess everything that would happen in the first 20 pages literally gave me nothing, and it could have been salvaged by the romance being cute, but the romance wasn't cute. I didn't care about the 2 characters that ended up together, could not have cared less. I just didn't enjoy it, and I think there's probably someone that would enjoy it, I guess. I don't know. I'm debating over whether to put it in Not My Style or burn it, because I feel like there definitely is someone that could enjoy this book, but I did not. And I think, I don't know, I'm feeling like a hater, so I'm gonna put it in burn it. Next one, now this one, I think I always see labeled as a sci-fi, but this book is not. I mean, it obviously is sci-fi because it's taking place over time and space and time travel, but it's definitely a romance story, and that is This Is How You Lose the Time War. I've talked about this book multiple times on my page. I absolutely love this book. You are never going to find someone who loves this book more than me. I love this book so much. This is a thin book, and I have it tabbed all the way through. I ran out of blue and red tabs tabbing this book that is literally like this thick. Like, it's so tiny, and I literally ran out of tabs tabbing it. That's how many quotes there are in here that are just so impactful. That's how much this book resonates with me. I just absolutely adore this book. This is one of the very few books that I've ever reread, because I don't reread books, but I reread this one. Oh my god, it's so perfect. This book, if you don't know, it's from the perspective of 2 different time travelers who are from rivaling like time organizations in this time war that's going on, and you're never going to get any backstory for the time war, for how any of this happened, but you don't need to, because that's not what the focus is. The focus is on the love between these 2 characters, and it's written as a series of letters between the 2, and it is just the most romantic thing ever, and the writing is so lyrical. It's so beautiful. The whole book reads like poetry, and it is just the most beautiful book I've ever read. And I've seen so many people say it's boring, it's confusing, all these things, and I will not tolerate any hatred on this book. I love it so much, but you have to go into it thinking it's a romance. You have to go into it reading it as you would a romance, not as you would a fantasy or a sci-fi book, because that's not what it is. Even if it's labeled that way in your library, that's not what it is. It's a romance, but it is the most beautiful romance you will ever read. So I'm gonna put it in with no edits, obviously, and it actually should be a tier above all these books because it's better than all of them, but we only have 5 tiers, so I'm gonna put it in with this tier, but just know that all the other books in this tier are below it. Next, we have I Kissed Shara Wheeler, and this is a very popular book. This book was huge on Book Talk. Whenever it came out, it was huge. It was everywhere. I saw it everywhere, and I was like, okay, I have to read it. What am I missing out on? And I read it, and it was fine. I mean, the plot was interesting because it was a romance between these 2 characters, but they don't interact at all until the very end of the book. So it was kind of interesting because there wasn't any like all the tension was done like through letters that were pre-written, and like they never actually interacted with each other. So it was kind of weird. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't really that. It is another one that takes place in a small conservative town, and so we get that sort of perspective, which I do enjoy to see. I definitely think this book had good aspects to it. I just didn't think it was as good as it was hyped up to be, but I did enjoy it while I was reading it, and then after I read it, I just kind of forgot about it. So I'm gonna put it in with You're All Right. I don't know if I would recommend it or not, because I know it's very, very popular, but I definitely think you could find something better than this book. Like, I think it's okay, but it's nothing really special. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's just middle ground. So do with that what you will. Next, we have Count Your Lucky Stars, which honestly, I should never have picked up this book. I don't know why I decided to pick up this book and read this book, because this is so not my style at all, but I did. It's a second chance romance, which automatically, I don't like second chance romance, so I don't know why I thought I would enjoy it. It's also adult, it's not YA, which I do enjoy an adult romance sometimes, it just depends, but this one is also very spicy, very high spice level, which I had no business reading when I was 14, but it's fine. I don't think it's a bad book. I don't really care for all the tropes and like the banter and the way people talk and all the conversations. It is very millennial, and it's very vulgar, and it's very just like, oh, like I wouldn't say that, but you did, so okay. But I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not a book I would ever gravitate towards. I didn't enjoy my time reading it, but it was fine. I'm gonna put it in not my style. It also, like I said, it's second chance romance, and it had a miscommunication trope, and that pisses me off. It just, I don't know, it made me so mad. And the characters just would not talk to each other, and it was like just annoying the hell out of me. So I really didn't enjoy it, but I'm sure someone would, so it's gonna go in not my style. And the last two books we have here are from my sapphic romance queen, Adiba Jagirdar. I love her so much. I think her books are so cutesy, giggling my feet, adorable. The first one we have to talk about is Honey and Ishu's Guide to Fake Dating. It's a fake dating trope. If you know me, you know it's not really my style, but Adiba did it good. She did it good. This was a good book. It was well done. I think this book is super cute, super sweet. It's just adorable. Adiba's writing she writes her characters really, really well, especially the like antagonist characters, because the girls in this book that are like terrible people that you're supposed to not like, oh my god, I hated them. Like, I literally wanted to pick up this book and throw it across the room because of how angry these girls made me, which was the point, and that's how it was supposed to be, so it was well done. Oh my god, they were infuriating. Literally the worst people ever, and I hate that people like that exist. This was literally pissed me off so bad, but the book was great. I loved the book. I thought the romance was very cute, very sweet. I don't think it was the best thing. I think her other book that I'm gonna talk about next is better, but I do think this book is really cute and I would recommend it, so I'm gonna put it in I Still Love You. And then the last one is her other book, which is The Henna Wars, another one that's very, very popular, and this book is gorgeous. I love this book. It is so, so sweet. I just fell in love with the characters and their dynamic. It was so adorable, and all of the culture in this book is also really beautiful. The plot essentially follows these two girls who are competing in a school competition where they have to make a business, and they're just competing against each other trying to win, but they end up doing the same business. They both do a henna business, and oh my god, it just spirals from there, but it's so cute. Literally, I read this book in one sitting. This is a 400-page book. I read it in one sitting on vacation. I read it in one sitting, and it was just, oh, it was perfection. This book is so cute, and I highly recommend it. I'm gonna put it in no edits. And that's all the books that I had in here. I forgot to put The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but if I put that in here, I would probably put it in I Still Love You. Here are all the books. I know I always say I'm hating on romance and I don't read a lot of romance, which, to be fair, a lot of these are romantasy books, not just romance. I don't read a lot of romance, and I know I say that, but clearly based on my rating, I like more than I don't like, which is good. That's all I had to talk about today, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.